Pay attention to the young woman stepping onto the southbound platform at the West End MARTA station in Atlanta, Georgia. March 3rd, 2008. 11:47 p.m. She's wearing a red jacket with a white stripe down the sleeve, dark jeans, white sneakers. Her name is Tanisha Brooks. She is 23 years old. She's on her way home from her shift at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, where she works in baggage handling. Third shift. The pay is decent. The hours are brutal. But she needs the money. She's saving for nursing school. Pay attention to how she stands near the yellow safety line, checking her phone. The platform is nearly empty. Just her and an older man in a brown coat reading a newspaper at the far end. She's texting her mother, Yvonne Brooks, letting her know she's on her way. The message reads, "On train. Be home in 20." It sends at 11:48 p.m. Now pay attention to the man in the Transit Authority uniform approaching from the access tunnel. He's carrying a clipboard. He walks with purpose. Official. He says something to Tanisha, follows him toward the service entrance. The surveillance camera captures her, walking through the door marked, "Authorized personnel. Only," at 11:51 p.m. Within 12 hours, Yvonne Brooks will file a missing person report. Within 3 days, the police will classify Tanisha as a voluntary missing person, suggesting she ran away. Within 6 weeks, the case will go cold. This was not a young woman going home after work. This was an abduction captured on camera, and no one noticed for 17 years. September 12th, 2025. A Tuesday morning. The air in Atlanta is heavy, with late summer humidity. Inside the offices of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, Maintenance Supervisor Dwayne Carter is reviewing old security footage. Not because he's investigating anything, because the digital archiving system is finally being upgraded, and someone has to verify the old files before they're transferred to new servers. He's been at this for 3 days. Watching grainy black and white footage of empty platforms, routine passenger movements, maintenance workers going about their jobs. It's mind-numbing work. He's about to take his lunch break when he opens a file dated March 3rd, 2008. West End Station. Platform B. He watches a young woman in a red jacket check her phone. Watches a man in a transit uniform approach her. Watches her follow him through a service entrance. Dwayne Carter pauses the footage, rewinds, watches, again. Something about it bothers him. The way the man walks. The way he positions himself between the woman and the platform. The way she hesitates for just a second before following him. He pulls up the employee roster for March 2008. No one was assigned to West End Station that night between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Dwayne Carter picks up his phone, calls his supervisor. The conversation is brief. Within an hour, MARTA Security is reviewing the footage. Within 2 hours, they've pulled every angle from every camera in the station that night. What they find changes everything. The man in the uniform appears on 3 different cameras. He enters the station through a service tunnel at 11:32 p.m. He carries a clipboard that turns out to be empty when reviewed on higher quality angles. He waits near the platform access door. At 11:51 p.m., he approaches Tanisha Brooks. She follows him through the door. Neither of them ever appear on camera again. By evening, Detective Marcus Reeves is sitting at his desk, staring at a stack of files that haven't been touched in 17 years. The file on top is labeled Tanisha LaShawn Brooks, DOB. The 14th of August, 1984. Last seen. The 3rd of March, 2008. Tanisha Brooks was the middle child of 3. Her mother, Yvonne, worked as a school cafeteria manager at Booker T. Washington High School. Her father, Gerald, drove trucks for UPS until he died of a heart attack when Tanisha was 16. Her older sister, Monique, was married with 2 kids and lived in Marietta. Her younger brother, Terrence, was 19 and attending Georgia State University on a partial scholarship. Tanisha graduated from Frederick Douglass High School in 2002. Decent grades. No major disciplinary issues. She'd applied to nursing programs but couldn't afford the tuition. So she worked, saved money, planned to apply again in a year or 2. She had a boyfriend, Isaiah Grant. They'd been together since junior year of high school. He worked at Home Depot in East Point. They talked about getting married someday, maybe buying a house in College Park. Tanisha loved purple, wore it whenever she could. Purple nail polish, purple scrunchies in her hair, purple phone case. Her mother still has the purple teddy bear. Tanisha kept on her bed. It sits on the living room shelf now, gathering dust, waiting for someone who will never come home. On March 3rd, 2008, Tanisha clocked out of her shift at the airport at 11:15 p.m. She walked to the MARTA station, took the train toward 5 Points, transferred to the Blue Line toward Bankhead. She got off at West End Station. Last stop before home. The text to her mother, sent at 11:48 p.m., was the last communication anyone received from her. By 1:30 a.m., Yvonne Brooks was worried. Tanisha was never late without calling. By 2 a.m., she was pacing. By 3 a.m., she called Isaiah. He hadn't heard from her. By 4 a.m., Yvonne called the police. The operator took down the information, told her someone would follow up. By 8:30 a.m., Officer Jenkins showed up at the Brooks residence, asked the standard questions. Did Tanisha have any reason to run away? Any drug problems? Any fights with family? Yvonne answered no to everything. Jenkins said he'd file the report. Said these things usually work themselves out. Yvonne knew better. A mother knows. By March 5th, Yvonne was at the police station with printed flyers, Tanisha's photo, her description. Last seen wearing a red jacket, white stripe down the sleeve. Please call if you have any information. She plastered them across West End, taped them to bus stops, handed them to strangers. By March 10th, Detective Raymond Hayes was assigned to the case. He reviewed the missing person report, interviewed Yvonne, Monique, Terrence, Isaiah. Everyone said the same thing. Tanisha wouldn't just leave. This wasn't like her. Detective Hayes pulled Tanisha's bank records. No activity after March 3rd. Pulled her phone records. Last signal pinged off a tower near West End Station at 11:49 p.m. He requested MARTA surveillance footage. Waited 3 weeks for it. When it finally arrived, it showed Tanisha on the platform. But the quality was poor, grainy, and the footage from the service tunnels wasn't included in the initial request. Hayes wrote in his report, "Subject likely left voluntarily. No signs of foul play. Case remains open, pending new information." The case went cold by May 2008. For 17 years, Yvonne Brooks searched. She kept Tanisha's bedroom exactly as her daughter left it. Purple comforter on the bed, teddy bear on the pillow, clothes hanging in the closet, nursing textbooks stacked on the desk from the online courses Tanisha had been taking. Every year on March 3rd, Yvonne rode the MARTA train to West End Station. She stood on Platform B. She prayed, sometimes alone, sometimes with Monique and Terrence. Always she brought flowers. Always she wore purple. She joined support groups for families of missing persons, attended vigils, organized community searches through abandoned buildings, wooded areas, vacant lots. She hired a private investigator in 2010. He worked the case for 4 months, ran out of leads, and apologized. She couldn't afford to keep him on. She filed Freedom of Information requests with MARTA, with Atlanta police. Most came back redacted or incomplete. She called Detective Hayes every 6 months, then every year. Then he retired, and she was passed to a new detective who barely knew Tanisha's name. People told her to move on, to accept that Tanisha was gone, to live her life, to let go. She couldn't, wouldn't. At Greater Hope Baptist Church on Sundays, she prayed for answers. Pastor Williams included Tanisha in the prayers for the missing. But as years passed, fewer people remembered. The congregation changed. Younger families moved in. The story of the girl who vanished from the MARTA station became just another tragedy in a community that had seen too many. Yvonne was 59 years old in 2025, still working at Booker T. Washington High School, still living in the same house on People Street, where Tanisha had grown up, still waiting for her daughter to come home. She'd started having trouble sleeping. Her doctor prescribed medication. It didn't help. She'd lie awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, running through every possibility. Where had Tanisha gone? Why hadn't she called? Was she alive? Was she suffering? Was she dead and buried somewhere Yvonne would never find her? The not knowing was worse than grief. Grief had an endpoint. This had none. In September 2025, Yvonne Brooks was sitting at her kitchen table when her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But she always answered, just in case. The voice on the other end said, "Mrs. Brooks? This is Detective Marcus Reeves with the Atlanta Police Department. I'm calling about your daughter, Tanisha." Yvonne's heart stopped, started, raced. She couldn't breathe. After 17 years, those words, "I'm calling about your daughter." Detective Reeves said, "We need you to come down to the station. We've found something." The evidence MARTA security pulled wasn't just the footage of Tanisha following the man in the uniform. It was what they found when they finally searched the service tunnels after Dwayne Carter reported the suspicious footage. MARTA sent a maintenance crew into the tunnels beneath West End Station. They were looking for signs of unauthorized entry, old equipment, anything unusual. What they found was a door, not a maintenance door. A door that had been added sometime between 1995 and 2008, based on the construction materials. A door that didn't appear on any official MARTA blueprints. The door was hidden behind a false electrical panel. Someone had to know it was there to find it. Someone had built it deliberately. Behind the door was a room, approximately 12 feet by 15 feet. Concrete walls, no windows. A single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. And inside the room, remnants of habitation. A mattress, rotted and mildewed. A plastic bucket. Empty water bottles. Food wrappers. A broken chair. Chains bolted to the wall, with rust so thick it looked like dried blood. And on the wall, scratched into the concrete with something sharp. Tanisha Brooks, 2008. If you find this, tell my mama I didn't stop fighting. MARTA security immediately sealed the area. Called Atlanta Police. By evening, a forensic team was processing the scene. By the next morning, Detective Marcus Reeves was standing in that room, looking at those words, feeling sick. The forensic team collected everything. DNA evidence was everywhere. Hair samples, skin cells, blood. The analysis would take weeks. But the message on the wall was clear. Tanisha Brooks had been here. She'd been held here. And she'd tried to leave evidence behind. Detective Reeves pulled every file related to the case. Read through Hayes' reports. Interviewed Yvonne Brooks, Monique, Terrence, Isaiah, who was now married with 3 kids and working as a regional manager for Lowe's. Everyone told the same story. Tanisha wouldn't leave. Something happened to her. Reeves requested the original MARTA footage from 2008. Got the same grainy clips Hayes had received. But this time, he demanded access to the full security archive. Everything from every camera, not just Platform B. What he found changed the investigation. The man in the transit uniform appeared on cameras throughout the MARTA system that night. He'd entered at Ashby Station at 9:15 p.m., traveled to West End, waited on the platform, approached Tanisha at 11:51 p.m., but there was more. He appeared on footage from February 2008, January 2008, December 2007. Different stations, different times. Always late at night, always wearing the same uniform, always carrying a clipboard, always watching. Reeves pulled missing person reports from 2007 and 2008. Cross-referenced them with MARTA ridership patterns. Found 3 other cases. 3 other young women who disappeared after using MARTA late at night. Kimberly Hayes, age 19. Last seen at Lakewood, Fort McPherson Station, the 15th of January, 2008. Nicole Carter, age 25. Last seen at Oakland City Station, the 2nd of November 2007. Chantel Reynolds, age 21. Last seen at Ashby Station, the 28th of September, 2007. All 3 cases were classified as voluntary missing persons. All 3 went cold within months. All 3 families had been told. Their daughters probably ran away. Detective Reeves requested footage from those stations on those dates. Found the same man in the transit uniform. Found the same pattern. Young women. Late nights. Service entrance. This wasn't one case. This was a serial predator operating inside the MARTA system for at least a year, possibly longer. Detective Reeves needed help. He called in the FBI. By October 2025, Special Agent LaToya Washington was leading a joint task force. Federal resources, forensic specialists, behavioral analysts. They started with the uniform. Pulled employment records from MARTA going back to 2005. Cross-referenced every maintenance worker, janitor, security guard, contractor. Found 37 men who matched the general description. Approximately 5'10" to 6'2", medium build, between 30 and 50 years old in 2008. They interviewed every single one, checked alibis, ran background checks. 24 had solid alibis or had left the state by 2008. 13 remained persons of interest. Then they analyzed the footage more carefully, brought in facial recognition technology, enhanced the images as much as possible. One analyst noticed something. The uniform didn't quite fit right. The patches were slightly off-center. The badge number was partially obscured. They pulled records of stolen or lost MARTA uniforms between 2005 and 2008. Found 7 reports. March 2007. Uniform stolen from a locker at the Hamilton E. Holmes Station Maintenance Facility. Employee name: Jerome Patterson. He'd reported the theft, filed a police report, but the uniform was never recovered. Jerome Patterson was interviewed. He remembered the theft clearly. He'd come in for his shift, found his locker broken into, uniform gone. He'd been issued a new one, thought maybe it was a prank, never thought about it again. The task force pulled surveillance from Hamilton E. Holmes Station in March 2007. Found footage of a man entering the maintenance facility after hours. The quality was poor, but they could make out general features. They ran the image through facial recognition against the database of persons of interest. Got a hit. Carlton Hayes. Age 43 in 2008. Former MARTA contractor. Worked as an electrician for a subcontractor doing repairs on the Blue Line between 2005 and 2007. Contract ended in February 2007. He knew the tunnels. He knew the access points. He knew the schedules. Detective Reeves pulled Hayes' background, found a pattern. 1,998. Fired from Georgia Power for inappropriate behavior toward a female coworker. No charges filed. 2001. Questioned in connection with a missing person case in DeKalb County. A 19-year-old woman named Amber Jackson who disappeared from a gas station. No evidence linking him. Case went cold. 2004. Arrested for trespassing in a MARTA tunnel. 2007. Contract with MARTA ended. He moved to Memphis, Tennessee. The task force tracked Carlton Hayes to Memphis. Found him living in a small apartment in Fraser. He worked for a local electrical company. Kept to himself. No one had any idea. FBI agents knocked on his door on November 8, 2025. He didn't answer. They obtained a warrant. Entered the apartment. Carlton Hayes was dead. Apparent suicide. Gunshot wound to the head. Estimated time of death: 3 days prior. On his kitchen table, a laptop. Open to a news article about MARTA security. Reviewing old footage and discovering hidden rooms in the tunnels. The article was dated November 3rd, 2025. Carlton Hayes had seen the news. He'd known they were coming. He'd taken the coward's way out, but he'd left evidence behind. The laptop contained folders, dozens of them, photographs, videos, documents, all organized by name. Tanisha Brooks, Kimberly Hayes, Nicole Carter, Chantal Reynolds, and 3 more names. Women who hadn't been reported missing or whose cases were never connected to MARTA. The photographs showed the room beneath West End Station, showed other rooms in other tunnels, showed women chained to walls, showed suffering that Detective Reeves couldn't unsee no matter how hard he tried. The videos were worse. They showed Carlton Hayes talking to the camera, explaining his methods, how he identified targets, how he lured them, how he kept them hidden, how he moved them between locations, how he disposed of bodies. He'd kept them for months, some for over a year, fed them minimally, moved them when maintenance crews got too close. Eventually, he'd killed them, buried them in remote locations outside the city. He provided a map, marked with 7 locations, 7 graves. The task force moved immediately. Forensic teams were dispatched to all 7 sites. Over the next 3 weeks, they recovered remains. Tanisha Brooks was found buried in a wooded area off Highway 166 near Cascade Springs Nature Preserve, identified through dental records. She'd been dead since approximately May 2008, 2 months after she was taken. Kimberly Hayes, Nicole Carter, Chantal Reynolds, all recovered, all identified, all dead. 3 more women. Destiny Moore, Angela Thompson, Shanice Williams. None had been officially reported missing. Destiny was estranged from her family. Angela was experiencing homelessness. Shanice had aged out of foster care with no family connections. They'd vanished without anyone noticing. 7 women. 7 families who would finally have answers. 7 graves that would finally have names. Yvonne Brooks received the call on November 29, 2025. Detective Reeves asked her to come to the medical examiner's office. She knew before he said it. She'd known for 17 years. They showed her the dental records, showed her the jewelry recovered from the site. A silver necklace with a Purple Heart pendant. Tanisha had worn it every day. Yvonne didn't cry at first. She just sat there, breathing. After 17 years of not knowing, now she knew. Her daughter was dead. Had been dead since 2008. All those years of searching, all those prayers, all that hope. It hit her later. At home. Alone in Tanisha's room. She screamed, cried, broke things, collapsed on the purple comforter that still smelled faintly like her daughter's perfume. Monique and Terrence came over, held her. There were no words. What could anyone say? The funeral was held on December 14th, 2025, at Greater Hope Baptist Church. The sanctuary was packed. Friends from high school, co-workers from the airport, neighbors, people from the support groups Yvonne had attended. Detective Reeves came. Special Agent Washington came. Isaiah came with his wife and children. Pastor Williams delivered the eulogy, talked about Tanisha's kindness, her dreams, her love for her family. Talked about a mother who never stopped searching, never stopped believing, never stopped fighting for her daughter. The gravestone at Lincoln Cemetery reads, Tanisha LaShawn Brooks, the 14th of August, 1984, D.C., May 2008. Beloved daughter, sister, friend lost but never forgotten. Found by a mother who never stopped looking. The case sparked outrage. How had Carlton Hayes been able to build hidden rooms in MARTA tunnels? How had he accessed service areas for years without detection? How had 7 women disappeared without anyone connecting the cases? MARTA launched an internal investigation, found systematic failures in security protocols. Maintenance crews rarely checked certain tunnels. Surveillance footage was stored, but rarely reviewed unless there was a specific incident. Background checks for contractors were inconsistent. Access to service areas was poorly monitored. MARTA's CEO resigned. The board implemented sweeping reforms. Security cameras upgraded. Facial recognition systems installed. Mandatory reviews of all service tunnels every 90 days. Stricter contractor vetting. Emergency call boxes in every tunnel. Real-time monitoring of all access points. But the reforms came 17 years too late for Tanisha Brooks and 6 other women. Yvonne Brooks filed a lawsuit in January 2026. Named MARTA. Named the contracting company that had employed Carlton Hayes. Named the security firm responsible for monitoring the tunnels. The lawsuit alleged negligence, failure to protect, and wrongful death. MARTA's attorneys fought hard, argued immunity, argued that Hayes was a criminal acting independently, argued that the statute of limitations had expired, argued that they couldn't have reasonably predicted his actions. Yvonne's attorney, a civil rights lawyer named Malik Johnson, argued back, presented evidence of similar incidents that had been ignored, showed documentation of security gaps that had been flagged and never addressed, showed that Marta had prioritized cost-cutting over passenger safety. The case went to mediation in August 2026. Marta settled for $8.5 million. The settlement included a public admission that security failures had contributed to the deaths. No non-disclosure agreement. Yvonne insisted on transparency. She used part of the settlement to establish the Tanisha Brooks Foundation. Its mission, to advocate for missing Black women and girls. To pressure law enforcement to take these cases seriously. To provide resources to families navigating the nightmare of a missing loved one. To ensure no mother has to fight alone the way Yvonne did. The other families received settlements as well. Smaller amounts. But at least they received acknowledgement. At least their daughters' names were spoken aloud in courtroom. At least the truth was public. Kimberly Hayes' mother, Gloria, attended every court hearing. Sat next to Yvonne. They became friends. Two mothers. Bound by shared grief. Nicole Carter's father, Raymond, used his settlement to quit his job and dedicate himself full-time to the foundation. He speaks at schools now. Warns young people about predators, about staying aware, about trusting their instincts. Chantal Reynolds had no family. She'd been in foster care, aged out. The settlement went to a fund for foster youth aging out of the system. It pays for housing deposits and emergency expenses. It's named after her. Destiny Moore, Angela Thompson, and Shanice Williams were buried with dignity, small ceremonies. But people came, strangers who'd heard their stories and wanted to bear witness, to say their names, to acknowledge that they mattered. Detective Marcus Reeves was promoted. He now leads the cold case unit. He's reopened every missing person case in Atlanta from the past 30 years, looking for patterns, looking for connections, looking for anyone who might have been missed. Special Agent Latoya Washington transferred to the FBI's Violent Crimes Against Children program. She couldn't shake the images from Carlton Hayes' laptop, couldn't stop thinking about how many predators were out there. She decided to dedicate her career to finding them. There's a memorial now at West End MARTA Station, Platform B, a bronze plaque on the wall near where Tanisha was last seen. It reads, "In memory of Tanisha Brooks, Kimberly Hayes, Nicole Carter, Chantal Reynolds, Destiny Moore, Angela Thompson, and Shanice Williams lost, but never forgotten May. Their stories demand. Justice may. Their names ensure change." Every March 3rd, Yvonne Brooks stands at that memorial. She wears purple, brings flowers. Sometimes she's alone. More often now, she's surrounded by people. Members of the foundation, other families of missing persons, advocates, journalists, people who refuse to let these women be forgotten. She doesn't cry anymore. Not there. Not publicly. She's cried enough. Now she speaks. She tells Tanisha's story. She tells the stories of the others. She reminds everyone that these were real women with real dreams. That they mattered. That their deaths should have been prevented. That the systems that failed them must change. She's 60 years old now. Her hair is gray. Her knees ache. She's tired in ways that sleep can't fix. But she shows up. Every vigil. Every hearing. Every meeting with legislators. Every training session for police officers on how to take missing person cases seriously. Because a mother knows. A mother doesn't give up. A mother fights, even when everyone tells her to stop. Even when the world moves on. Even when justice comes too late. Tanisha Brooks was lost for 17 years. But she's not lost anymore. Her body is home. Her name is spoken. Her story is known. And 7 women who were forgotten are forgotten no longer.